Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Manuel Chenga, and then today we'll be discussing about engineering science N1, and we are still on the same topic of dynamics. So make sure if you haven't watched my previous video regarding about this topic, you go and watch those videos. That's where I was talking about the vectors and also discuss the calculation of the vectors. So make sure you watch those previous videos before you watch this one. So let's get to our today's business. So today we want to talk about what is the distance and what is the displacement, and also the calculation which involve these. Okay, so the first thing we know, what is distance. The distance we covered within whenever you're traveling with the car, measured by the odometer. So it can be meters per second, or it can be kilometers per hour, it depends. And then we also have what we call the displacement. The example that I like to give, for example, let's say you're moving from point A, and then let's say this is point B, and this is my point C. So this is the distance that you can cover whenever we are traveling. You can either be walking or you can even be using a car. And then what is a displacement? A displacement is just a straight line of a distance. So we are saying, for example, you're supposed to just go straight from this point to this point. So a displacement, it is a straight line of a distance. So whenever you're moving a distance, you move from point A to point B to point C. So what it is, the displacement now is just the straight line that you're supposed to travel. And it can be also measured in meters per second, or you can use kilometers per hour, depending with your question. Okay, so since we are talking about the distance and displacement, there are also calculations which are involved when we mention these two. The first thing is the calculation of what we call the velocity. So a velocity, it is a rate of displacement. Some other example can ask you what is a velocity. So a velocity, it is a rate of displacement. And how do you obtain a velocity? A velocity is going to be the displacement divided by the time. So in order for you to get a velocity, you need the displacement, you also need a time. And then how can you obtain a speed? A speed is going to be the rate of the distance. So a speed is going to be the distance divided by the time. So in distance, it can be in meters, and then your time can be in seconds, or it can be in kilometers, and then your time is going to be in hours, depending with your question that you are given. So you can also ask to calculate what we call the average velocity. So they're saying in order for you to get the average velocity, you will need two velocities, which are the initial velocity and then the final velocity. When we are talking about the initial velocity, we are talking about V1, and then when we are talking about the final velocity, we are talking about V2. So it's going to be V1 plus V2 divided by 2. That's how you can obtain your average velocity. So this is how you get your velocity, how you get your speed. This is also how you get an average velocity. Okay, let's go to our example for today so we can see how we can apply this on a question. They're saying on the board, a traveler goes from A to B on a route as shown on a map. If the journey takes 3 hours, 15 minutes, calculate the following. So you are given a traveler who's traveling in a certain on a certain direction. So they're saying the traveler starts from this point, and then he moves 60 kilometers going to the east. When he reaches to the east point, and then he moves going to the south, 20 kilometers going to the south, and then when he reaches here, and then he moves this side, 10 kilometers going to the west. So this is the distance that our traveler covers. So let us also try to use the textbook so we can see the questions that they ask us. So on the first question, they're saying a distance traveled from A to B. So they want you to get the total distance that your traveler he did cover when he was traveling. So for example, we said he started from this point and he ended this point. So how do you get your distance? Your distance, you're going to just add whatever distance you're given. For example, here, so it's going to be, to get my, you can just say E, it's going to be 60 plus 20 plus 10, okay, which will give me 90 kilometers. So this is the distance that our traveler covers. Since we are saying is that a 60 kilometers going to the east, and then 20 kilometers going to the south, and then 10 kilometers going to the west. So when they say find the distance, they want you to get the total distance on how the traveler traveled this distance. So this is my answer. And then number 2, they want to get the displacement from A to B. And remember, we say, what is a displacement? A displacement is just a straight line of a distance. So we are saying, instead for him to travel from this point, going this side, and this side, he was just supposed to travel, let me say, A to B. He was just supposed to travel on a straight line like this. So if they're saying get the displacement, how do you get your displacement? Your displacement is going to be in line from this point to this point. And how are you going to obtain this? So definitely you have to draw. And then firstly, you have to deal with the directions which are opposing each other. If you can see from here, I'm having 60 kilometers going that side, and then you're also having 10 kilometers going the other side. If you can see, you have two directions which are opposing each other. This also applies to all my previous videos where I was teaching about vectors which are opposing the direction. I said whenever you are given vectors which are opposing the direction, what you do, you are going to subtract. So in this case, it will be 60 minus 10, which will give me 50 kilometers. And then you check the one which is bigger. In this case, the one which is bigger is my 60. So we left with one with 50 kilometers going to the east. So now I'm only left with one line. There's not this line. I've get rid of this line. So now I'm having 50 kilometers going this side, and then you are having 20 kilometers going this side. And then how do you get your displacement? It's going to be this straight line. So you can use your own scale. Let us see on what is the scale that they use here, if they did give us a scale. Alright, okay, from here they didn't give us a scale, so you can even use a scale of 1 centimeter. It's equal to 10 kilometers, and then here you know you have to measure. In this case it will be 5 centimeters, and then going down it will be 2 centimeters, and then you get your displacement using this side, and then it can also have the angle. Okay, and then from here they got 54 kilometers, and then the angle was 68 degrees going to the east.